privilege for me to be here in the midst of all of you. Great pleasure because I've been closely associated with all of you in the direct selling industry. My belief always has been that the direct selling industry adds hugely to economic activity. It is a major driver of India's growth, and that it provides the economic impetus to more than anything else. And the key challenge for India is really about growth with jobs. So if you are not able to create jobs, then we'll be in deep problems. And therefore, jobs are very, very critical. And this industry creates jobs. And important thing is that we need to create jobs for women. We need to create jobs for women because in India, the contribution of women to gross domestic product, that is our GDP, is only 17%. And worldwide average is around 40%. 40%, the gap between India and the rest of the world is enormous. 24% of women in India work, but the contribution is only 17%. And unless and until we don't, as a conscious policy, have gender parity, there is many more women to become economic drivers of growth, it will be very difficult for India to grow. And actually, if we are able to create gender parity, have 40% women working, we'll be adding $700 billion to India's GDP. Oh. So while we are growing at 7.6%, we need to grow at 9 to 10% per annum for 3 decades or more to be able to create jobs for a very young population. We are passing through a window of demographic transition, which rarely happens in history. Our population is very young. You know, the biggest social and economic transition that is taking place across the world is the fact that the population in Europe and America is getting older and older. The population in India is getting younger and younger, and it will keep getting younger till 2040. And therefore, if you have to reap this advantage, it can be a huge nightmare as well if you are not able to create jobs. So if you have to create jobs, there are only 2 ways. One is to push manufacturing in a very big way, and the other is to push direct selling. Yeah. So that many of you create jobs, you should also be able to do, you know, right now many of you don't do manufacturing in India. Amway has started doing manufacturing in India, I know. So my compliments to, they've set up a big plant in South India. I have not seen it, but I've seen photographs of it, so I appreciate what Amway has done. But each one of the companies must start doing manufacturing in India. If you're going to sell, you know, while we have brought systems, we've brought discipline, we've brought guidelines, we've done this, we drafted this long time back. It took Ministry of Consumer Affairs some time, but they finally issued those guidelines. So there's now everybody in government accepts that there are Government of India guidelines, clear guidelines. How you people are an integral part of now, that has given respectability. Earlier, you people were, you know, many states, Kerala, West Bengal, many of you were seen as people who were doing chit funds. You are not doing chit funds. You know, you are doing a very respectable profession. You are economic drivers of growth for India. So we respect that. And that has now been recognized. That has now been recognized that you are, government has, by issuing these guidelines, clearly recognized that you are major players of India's economy, that you significantly contribute to India's economy, that you are adding to India's growth and wealth, and that you are creating jobs. And therefore, getting out with these guidelines were very important. And these guidelines have now been given to different states to realize that you are important players in India's economy, and every state will respect these guidelines because they've been issued by Government of India. But as we go along, I think we'll probably work towards a legislation which will clearly spell out what is direct selling. So we'll work towards that in the long run, and I think we'll totally legitimize all this. So my view is that a lot of wrong was done against some of you in the past. We've forgotten that. We should look at the future. We should look at growth. And therefore, all of you will be very, very critical, very major drivers of growth of India. And as I've said, our objective is to try and make India extremely easy and simple. We are working towards that. One of these, the issuing of these guidelines is also one of the flares, but we are working towards, we've done the bankruptcy law, we've created Jan Dhan accounts for a lot of people. We have now working towards creation, this whole process of financial inclusion of people, working towards Jan Dhan accounts, working towards bank correspondence, working towards doing away with, the intention of this entire demonetization process is that India must move from a cash economy, which is 86% of India. 86% people used to transact in cash. Nowhere in the world does this happen. No country in the world is 86% transaction done through cash. And this leads to black marketing, this leads to black money, this leads to counterfeiting, this leads to terror activities. And therefore, what we have done is at the back built up a whole process of digital payments. And what you people should push for is a system of digital payments. Now in digital payments, there are several options available. I've asked my office to give you all these small brochures, small pamphlets, which I think some of you have got. Has all of you got this? Kindly go through this. It's very simple, step-by-step approach. And you should then look at training 50 people each on how to do digital transactions. There are 5 different ways, and I'll tell you this. There are debit credit cards, which we all know. All of us use debit credit cards. We use debit cards for withdrawing money out of ATM only. But debit cards can be used for any transaction. Anywhere you can pay through them. So please teach people how to use debit cards properly. They need not pay in cash. They can use their debit cards. But in addition to debit credit cards, there are also prepaid cards. So people can buy prepaid cards of 2,000, 4,000, 10,000, 20,000 rupees from banks and use them. They are like people who are buying telephone cards to recharge their telephone. Similarly, there are prepaid cards. But then, important thing is that your mobile, this mobile, can be your bank. This is your bank. And this is your wallet as well. So this is your wallet, this is your bank, and in my mobile, I have several things. One is I have an app called the Unified Payment Interface. It's called the Unified Payment Interface, UPI. All banks are on that. All banks are on that. Please download this. Do it yourself and transact this because it's a very seamless, open, interoperable system. If all banks are connected, so any debit or credit that you do on that, you are not moving out of the bank. You're paying from the bank directly. So you just use the bank and pay directly for any transaction. So unified payment interface is interoperable amongst banks. It's a very simple thing. Many of you will say, but what happens if there is no internet? Vast areas of India are not linked to internet. We have a thing called USSD. USSD is nothing else but *99# on your phone. Just use *99# and ring it. And you'll get this. And on *99# on any part of India, on a GSM phone, you can actually do any debit or credit. So anywhere in India on a GSM phone, you can do debit or credit on what is known as USSD, but I call it Chetak because वो Chetak की तरह दौड़ता है और बड़ा simple है. So it's very easy. So use USSD in areas where there's no internet. And the third is Aadhaar-enabled payment. And Aadhaar-enabled payment is the most powerful according to me. Because in India, 99.9% of the people, adult people, all have Aadhaar. Everybody has Aadhaar. And I hope all of you have Aadhaar. You can't survive without Aadhaar actually. So 99.9% of the people have Aadhaar. There are 108 million adults who have Aadhaar. There are 38 million accounts which are seeded with Aadhaar. Bank accounts which are seeded with Aadhaar. Many of you don't know this. I didn't know this, but my bank is actually seeded with my mobile number. So, and with my Aadhaar number, both. So many of your accounts are seeded with Aadhaar, and if not, please get them seeded. So all our accounts which are seeded with Aadhaar, that is 36, 38 million accounts, all that you have to do is to go to any, there's a simple, very simple Android system which is available, and that links up. Actually, every mobile can be a walking ATM. Anybody who has an Android phone needs to just link this. And this costs just 2,000 rupees. But as demand for this increases, this cost will come down to 700, 800 rupees. You just need to link it up here with this. Use your thumb here. Just use your thumb. And when you do that, you just feed your Aadhaar number. Thumb, Aadhaar number. You don't need to remember your bank account. And just, it'll ask you, and you just say bank. Suppose my account is in State Bank of India, I just say State Bank of India, and the mobile will take you to your account. It takes you directly into your account, and from there, you can actually do debit or credit straight away. So just 3 processes: your thumb impression, your Aadhaar number, and your bank. Just name the bank. It will take you to your account. And if you have to debit, just say 5,000 rupees or 200 rupees or whatever, and put debit and tuck, it goes. So it's a bang of a second. So immediately it'll transact business, and I think is Raghavan here? I'd asked him to come. He's here. So he will actually transact this. He will transact it for you. And Raghavan, I've got him with what he's carrying today is a micro ATM, but it is nothing. This micro ATM is actually nothing but an Android phone linked with a thumb impression. But this is just a micro ATM this is a mobile with a thumb impression, but in about 10 or 15 days, actually we are popularizing that every Android phone, you can buy this and this will become your all of you must become walking ATMs. All of you must become walking ATMs. And therefore, you can transact any business with that. So and this is an open system. In 10 days' time, it will become interoperable, so anyone can transfer from anywhere to anywhere. And the fifth is, of course, I told you about debit cards, I told you about UPI, I told you about USSD, and I told you about Aadhaar-enabled system, and the fifth is wallets. Now, what happens in wallet is that you are taking money out of your bank and putting it into the wallet. So I also have on my mobile, I do internet banking, I do UPI, I can do USSD, but I also have 2 wallets, that is SBI Buddy and Paytm. But you can use any wallet. You can use Paytm, you can use MobiKwik, you can do FreeCharge, the number of wallets which are operating. So what happens in wallet is that you're taking money out of the bank and putting it in the wallet, and from wallet you're paying tuck, 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 tuck to everything, from electricity bill to buying Herbalife or buying Amway products, all their protein products. Amazing. To improve your health. Nice. Yeah, so everything you can buy. So all transactions can be done through that. So there are 5 different methods: debit card, credit cards, prepaid cards, UPI, USSD, Aadhaar-enabled system, and wallets. 5 different systems are available. You use any one of them. And therefore, my challenge to all of you is that all of you must teach at least 50 people, from your maidservants, servants, to everyone at home, even elderly people. It's a very simple thing, how to do digital transformation of India. You know, 86% of India is cash. There's a lot of black money in India. Only 1% of Indians pay taxes. Indians are the biggest avoiders of tax. We've mastered the art of not paying tax. So we are all have to move towards formalizing the Indian economy, and this is, I look at this as a huge opportunity, huge opportunity to transform India, because no country in the world has 1 billion biometric. No country in the world has 1 billion biometric. No country in the world has 1 billion mobile. By 2024, and I think now with this demonetization, by 2023, everybody will have a smartphone. And everybody's smartphone will be linked with this, will have actually an iris or a thumb impression. It will be a part of your mobile. So each one of the individuals in India will be a walking ATM. All Indians will be walking ATMs. You can transact business anywhere. And you can help others to transact business. So this is a huge opportunity for direct selling agents, all of you, to really push India into the digital age. And I see you people not as just direct selling agents, but agents who are going to transform India in many ways. And women learn this much faster than men. You know, women learn this all much faster than men, because, you know, when I was passing out of college in St. Stephen's, it was a male bastion. There were no girls allowed. But when my daughter got into St. Stephen's, it became co-ed the year I was leaving. And by the time, my daughter joined the college, almost 80% of the seats in the college are now taken by girls. And the previous principal had said that, we should give, it became a big issue because he said, actually, if you want St. Stephen's College to remain a co-ed college, then you have to give 10% extra marks to boys. So men protested, but actually when I went to Bangalore Christchurch College, the Vice Chancellor there told me that he gives 15% extra marks to boys so that it can remain a co-ed college. And even then, 70% of the students, despite 15% extra marks, 71% of the students were girls. So my view is that girls will continue to do better than men throughout, and we need to push that so that India's GDP improves. I wish you all the very best. I wish you all grow and prosper. I wish your companies prosper. And I wish all of you and your families all the best, and may you become the key agents of change in India. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Fabulous.